All right. So, it appears as though Moses is asking God a two-dimensional question. What is your name? If somebody asks me, what is your name? That's just a simple question. I can give you a simple answer. Jeff. But the answer that God gave Moses was far from two-dimensional. And there's a whole lot of things that I think that we can see from it. The first one, the name I am, means that God is self-existent. Nobody created God. Nobody gave birth to Him. He existed before anything else existed. He did not evolve. He just always has been. Now, the reason we can't understand that is because there's nothing in our experience that didn't have a beginning. Everything that we know of, every person that we know of, even the universe itself had a beginning, but not Yahweh. The fact that we cannot understand that is not good enough reason to reject the idea. In fact, it is totally reasonable to believe it, that God always existed. It's the only reasonable explanation that we have. For a couple of centuries now, evolutionists have been trying to explain how the universe could have happened without God. The consensus among most is that the universe did indeed have a beginning. There are a few out there that would like to say that the universe has always existed, but they're in the minority even among evolutionists. Even Stephen Hawking acknowledged that the laws of science prevent us from believing that the universe has been there forever. So the unanswerable question remains, how did we go from nothing to something? And nobody has been able to come up with any kind of an answer to that. Many of them resort to something that we call infinite regress, which just means that, well, before the universe, there was something else that caused the universe to come into existence. Well, what about before that something else? Well, there was something else that caused that other something else that caused the universe to be in existence. And so you can keep going and adding the something else as far back as you want. But the truth of the matter is that sooner or later, you've got to come up with something different. Now, we could ask, well, could that something else have been, God? Oh, no, nothing like, no way. Couldn't have been God. It had to have been something else. You know, and so all that is just a putting off of the problem. You cannot have something from nothing without a creator God. It is impossible. You know, someone said, well, the universe came about as a fluctuation in the space-time continuum. Sorry, that doesn't work, because when there is nothing, there is no space and there is no time. Nobody has ever come up with an explanation that even makes sense, let alone is scientifically plausible, for how the universe came into existence without God. So believing in a self-existent God who created all things is not only reasonable, it's the only plausible explanation for why there is something rather than nothing. It's kind of interesting that the atheists and the skeptics, they want to appeal to reason so much, and they accuse us of not following reason and that we just resort to faith as if that was something that was opposed to reason. Reason, that's their cry. Well, let's reason. How did something come from nothing? No, that's not reasonable at all. The skeptic says to me, well, you're just hiding behind your superstitious belief in order to explain what you can't. Well, I'd say that my belief is a whole lot more reasonable and sensible than anything you've come up with. Some people say that religion developed as a way for primitives to explain what they could not understand. You know, by that definition, evolution itself is a religion. And its adherents definitely hold to it religiously. As far as God's self-existence, can I explain that? Well, I don't think that there needs to be any other explanation than to say that's why we call him God. God is capable of that because of who he is. It's not like saying that a human was eternally self-existent. And besides, if we could understand everything about God, he wouldn't be much of a God, would he?